Hey, Brixel! And I'm back. Had to deal with a little plague situation, but I'm here in the land of the living and I'm feeling great. So let's see how the Guild Wars 2 community's been doing. Right, so I may be back, but I'm not strong enough to touch that right now. We'll get to that later. Instead, today we're going to be going over some of the highlights from the frankly huge June update that's dropping tomorrow. Before I do that, real quick, don't forget to ding the thing if you haven't already. My YouTube analytics are my sole source of dopamine, so be kind, donate a click, and help keep me out of therapy. Big love to my patrons, and with that, let's jump into the June update for Guild Wars 2. Our first big bit of news is the tweaks regarding the End of Dragon Strike missions. ANET says they're happy with the public reception of challenge mode so far, noting an increase in first-time strike players. Fantastic news for the endgame community, and it looks like ANET are going a step further. They've announced a doubling of the amount of gold players can earn each week. Plus, challenge mode completions will now reward players with an extra ass. Plus, as a little cherry blossom on top, ANET is adding an otaku infusion. Nice. Moving on! The dev team went on to pat themselves on the back for the Special Forces training area and dungeon reward changes, tweaks that both dropped earlier this month. Honestly, if anything deserved a pat on the back, this is it. Unifying all dungeon currencies is definitely backpack worthy in my opinion, so GG ANET, GG. But they're not stopping there. The dev team announced even more quality of life changes, first and foremost being high contrast cursors. A fantastic change that adds a lot for accessibility, though Guild Wars 2 is still pretty severely lacking in that department, and I think that's a topic that deserves its own video. Next up, the scrapping of the repair system. I'll be first to say f***ing finally, but don't get too excited because although the repair system is genuinely gone, there are some shenanigans. After the update, repair canisters and anvils will grant a small bonus to your health and defense with a 12-hour duration. The enhancement will work in PvE and World vs. World, but not PvP. So yes, you no longer have to repair your armor, but the anvil is still going to be a big part of every player's routine. Because no matter how small the buff is, for higher end players, every small advantage you can gain is basically mandatory and something you're gonna have to keep track of. The final line in the update, though, is what bugs me. To anvil or not to anvil, that's totally up to you to decide. Is it though? Is it really optional? Do you want to be the idiot that pitches up to group content without the buff making you a target when shit goes south? Optional, but not really. Alright, next up, like almost all MMOs, raiding is seen by the uninitiated and inexperienced as the crown jewel of endgame content. I mean, I heard a rumor that once you're in with the raiders, your character's triples in length and Ritlock stops calling you boss and starts calling you daddy. So with that in mind, ANET is doing their best to help noobs achieve their lofty raid god goals. Hence, we're getting what many are calling raid easy mode. Alternatively, the emboldened system. ANET explains that it's an optional mode that progressively ramps up a player's damage, health, and healing output each time they fail an encounter. They go on to explain that each time the raid wipes against the boss, they'll receive another stack of emboldened, granting up to 100% additional health, 50% increased damage, and 50% increased healing output. Now, to be clear, only one of the 7 raid wings will be set to emboldened each week. Also, emboldening is entirely optional. Now, I've seen some gatekeepy murmurings going around, but in my opinion, this is a positive change. All the emboldening system is really going to do is make one wing super popular each week while also giving noobs the chance to try content they may not have been confident enough to try before. If you think about it, the only people this could genuinely hurt is like speedrunners, I guess? I mean, they'll have to push an extra button before each run. Oh no? Look, yes, I understand that people are worried that this will completely trivialize content as suggested by some Guild Wars Nostradamus on Reddit, but the update goes on to say, deadly encounter mechanics will still be deadly and players will have to respect them. But this system will give new raiders a chance to ease into learning them. So really, get good, don't stand on the fire, and it'll all be Gucci. Right, so there's one final announcement I want to touch on. All story instances are being turned into bouncy castles. Okay, no, but seriously, we no longer have to fear that stepping out of the red designated playground will result in you being yeeted out. Yep, we're talking wall-to-wall padding. A relatively small change, but it really will go a long way in helping player safety. I mean, we don't have to worry about self-inflicted injuries when we repeatedly bang our heads against the wall after reading Reddit and Twitter opinions. Okay, but what it really means is we won't lose progress anymore if we're feeling a little adventurous. Yeah, I think it's a great addition to the game, but while we're on the topic, I'd also prefer a few more autosave checkpoints. As someone that lives in a country that struggles with constant power cuts, I cannot tell you how many times I've redone an entire story mission because their checkpoint system sucks. But that's it. Yes, there is more to this point, but until everything dies down and we get some more communication that isn't in the form of leaks and Discord conversations, I think that's a topic best left to the salt mines of Reddit. So that's it. What do you think of the announced changes? Love them? Hate them? Why? Why not? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below and we can talk about it. I genuinely appreciate the thought out and well-debated comments I've been getting on my last few videos, so thank you. Sub if you haven't already. We release new MMO videos every dang week, as well as regular-ish streams over on twitch.tv/brixelgaming. Now that the Rona's gone, I'm going to be back to streaming multiple times a week, so look forward to that. A huge shout out to our patrons, as well as our Guardian tier patrons, Duncan Forsman, Liam Pullis, Anthony Hodgson, and Reynard. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Brixel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.